Hello everyone, this is part 11 of What If Naruto Was Iron Man, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Naruto awoke the next morning and found there was a weight on his chest and he felt a pair of legs wrapped around his own. He was confused a moment until the previous night's events came back to him and he found his left hand was rubbing Leela's hair softly. A content sigh came from Leela, who looked up and said, "You have a strong heart. It's soothing," as she looked into his eyes. Naruto leaned down and kissed her lips and she returned the kiss for several minutes as her hands traveled his chest and circled around the power core, and she said, "That was amazing last night. Where did you learn to do that thing with the Kijibunshin?" Naruto looked thoughtful a moment and said, "I actually just thought of that at that moment. I didn't know if it would work." Leela nuzzled into his chest and said in a dreamy voice, "Yeah, it worked all right." Just then a knock was heard on the bedroom door and Leela growled, "What?" A scared voice said, "Forgive me Mizukage-sama, but you have a council meeting in 30 minutes. Leela growled and said, "Fine. I'll be there," as she slumped her head back down onto Naruto's chest. Naruto chuckled and said, "I hate councils." Leela said, "So do I, but they're a required sin. It's too difficult running a village by yourself. At least I killed most of the old corrupt bastard that my brother had placed in charge." Naruto bit his lip and asked, What exactly happened to him?" Leela looked at Naruto and thought a moment and said, "When he broke free of Madara mental control, Madara came back and used his Sharingan to crack the seal holding the Sanbi. My brother fought him and was able to force him to retreat, but the seal was becoming unstable and the Sanbi was breaking free. He asked me to take control of Mist and fix it and he left. He didn't want to release the Sanbi on our home, so he took it with him. I know he's dead now," as she looked sad. Naruto rubbed her back and said, "Sorry. I didn't want to make you feel bad." Leela said, "No. It's alright, it helps to talk about it sometimes, doesn't it?" Naruto closed his eyes and said, "Yeah, it does." Leela asked, "So what's the story with the redhead? I mean." Naruto chuckled and said, "Eva, well, she's unique. I used to be different. I always acted like an idiot who would smile and pull pranks and try to get everyone to see me. But all people saw was the idiot I pretended to be. I was thrown away by someone who earned my trust and I had enough, and I was willing to even work with QB at the time to prove I wasn't the worthless piece of trash I was told I am. A man who helped create Eva asked me if I had another option, one that could cost me my life, would I take it? I was so angry at the time I agreed. I don't regret that decision once, but then it happened," as he closed his eyes. Leela asked, What happened?" looking interested and frightened at the same time. Naruto let a tear fall and said, "Someone I let get close to me. She was killed in front of me and her killer acted like she was nothing but trash who nobody should care if she was dead or not. I snapped that day. That was the day I stopped calling myself Naruto Uzumaki. The happy-go-lucky idiot died that day and I started calling myself Naruto Namikaze. I ignored everyone's attempts to stop me as I went after her killer. Her killer doesn't exist anymore, even though I didn't get to kill him, but I couldn't be who I was anymore. I had changed and Eva was the first to notice it. I didn't even realize the road I was starting down was going to turn me into the thing I hated most in my life, a demon. She was able to pull me back from that path, but she won't get close like we were to me again. Even though she's not flesh and blood, she's as real as you are. We've been through so much together, but she keeps us as friends and tries to make my life better, but she keeps us from being how close we were so that I will remember not to go down the path that I had once started. Don't let my power or belief blind me to the world around me. I'm not immortal or invulnerable." Leela said, "I see. I take it she's part of this," as she rubbed the power core. Naruto nods and said, "Yeah. She always close to my heart, I guess you could say," with a half-joke smile. Leela smiled and said, "I'm glad. I like the person I see before me. I don't think I would have liked you if you had went down that path. I hate it, but I got to get ready and so do if you want to discuss a trade alliance, and we still need to discuss the missions you want," as she got up and stretched and several of her bones popped. Naruto watched as she swayed her hips on the way out. Eva said, I like her, she's spunky. Naruto thought, that's not the word I would use for her, what the hell was that anyways, why did you reveal yourself like that and show that scene between me and Tsunami? Eva said, A. Because I could. B. I could tell she liked you. C. I could tell you liked her. And D. Because you're scared of getting close to anyone else because you're worried they might be harmed like Inari was kidnapped and you had to rescue him. You can't close yourself off to the world afraid to get hurt. That's what you did when Tenten was killed and I won't let you fall down that same path again. Leela came out drying her hair and said, shower's free. Naruto got up and went toward the bathroom and Leela pinched his ass on the way past her and she giggled as his cheeks turned red and she thought, he's still got some innocence in him. When Naruto came out he looked for his clothes to get dressed and blinked and asked, where the hell are my cloths from last night and for that matter how the hell did I get out of them? I don't remember taking them off. Leela said, oh that. When I put my arms around you I did some hand signs for a jutsu I know. It's called late for a date no jutsu. I don't remember where I learned it but it was designed to give a kunoichi extra time to get ready for a date since we are usually busy on mission or training or other things that make it harder for us to get ready. It removes all clothing from a person as well as all makeup and perfume. I used it on both of us at the same time so that's how we got naked so quick. Naruto shook his head and asked, so where are my cloths? Leela walked around the bed and picked up a small pile of cloths and set them on the bed and Naruto grabbed his cloths and put them on and froze as his hand went to a scroll and looked down and Leela saw this and asked, what's wrong? Naruto sighed and said, on my way to sea. I guess the Water Lord's your father, as he rubbed his head. Leela said, yeah, he is. So what's happened to make you look scared a moment? Naruto held out a scroll and said, 3 of your nins after I refused to pay them protection money waited till I got outside the port I arrived in and jumped me. I replaced myself with one of them when 2 of them charged me from the back while the other used a jutsu to attack from the front. The 2 who were charging stabbed each other with poisoned blades and the other one tried to kill me for revenge and I killed him, their bodies are in this scroll. Leela asked, what did they look like? Eva had a hologram appear of them and Leela chuckled and said, don't worry about those 3. You did me a favor. Those 3 have been pulling that racket for a while now but without a complaint I couldn't do anything about it and they always threatened the person they pulled it on to kill them if they told. I knew they were corrupt but I had no evidence and because of who they were I couldn't send them on a mission to get killed so I've been stuck with them. Naruto asked, who were they? Leela sighed and said, my brother's genin team he took before he became Yondaime. They were corrupt as hell but like I said nobody would press charges against them so I couldn't do anything. Naruto blinked and said, I see. Leela looked at the clock and said, I guess we better go, as she walked over and said, don't say anything until I give you permission to speak, as she placed her hand on his shoulder and they disappeared in a swirl of mist. They appeared in a circle room with 30 seats around the central podium and Leela pointed toward a seat near the podium and whispered in Naruto's ear, sit over there until I call you. Then stand at the podium, as she ignored the looks and murmurs that came from the others in the room. A council member said, forgive me for asking Mizukage-sama but are you alright? Leela looked at him and said, yes, why? The man said, I notice you're walking with a limp. I was worried you were injured. Leela chuckled and said, no. I've been in the office so much I tried to make up for some of my training I missed and extended a muscle in my leg. I've already healed it but it will be sore a couple of hours. Nobody said anything else as Leela took a seat at the top in a section that was by itself and she said, I call this meeting in order. ... Now I know most of you are wondering who the young man is that I brought here and why I was the last one who arrived instead of the first like usual. The answer is one in the same. His name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, son of the Yondaime Hokage of Konoha and the new feudal lord of Wave Country. He is here at the behest of the people of Wave to open trade negotiations between our countries and to request some missions. He is also here to collect the bounty on an S-rank missing nin from our village, making everyone wide-eyed looking at Naruto. Leela said, if you would Namikaze-sama, let's get the bounty of Kisame out of the way. Would you please show us the proof he is dead? Naruto nods and stood up pulling out a scroll and unsealed the body of Kisame and Leela whistled lowly and said, took him one piece at a time huh? Naruto said, yeah. I thought splitting him up would let me fry some and chill the rest. Several people chuckled at the joke and a council member said, I'm sorry Mizukage-sama but I do not believe what this young man is claiming. Kisame was practically a cage-level ninja and this boy claims to have killed him. My brother died facing Kisame and he was a Junin. I do not believe this boy's statement or that he is in fact a feudal lord. Naruto looked at the man and saw several people agreeing with him and Naruto said, as for proof that I am a feudal lord as I claim to be, this is my proof. As he held up the ring on his finger and said, this is the official ring of the Lord of Wave recognized by an emissary of the Emperor. I am officially a feudal lord and this is my official seal. As for Kisame, test me if you dare. But once I prove that I am strong enough to have killed Kisame then I get one request fulfilled for free. The council member who spoke before doubting Naruto said, and if you are proven to be a fake. Naruto smirked and said, then I will sign over all rights as the Lord of Wave to you, making everyone in the room wide-eyed. Leela said, Naruto that's. The council member said, agreed, silencing Leela. Naruto said, then name your challenge before we proceed any further. I do request that I be allowed to get me some standard weapons though since I came here as a diplomat and not a fighter. The counselor laughed and said, you came here unarmed. Naruto said, I never said I was unarmed. I just said I didn't bring my standard weapons with me since I was planning to resupply while I was here anyways. The council member said, you are to face me then, making several people gasp including Leela. Leela said, but Shinro, you're. Shinro said, enough Leela, the young fool here has already made his grave. I propose this to be a fight to the death. Naruto said, if you so chose but know this, I've taken on S-rank missing Nin at least once a month for nearly a year and I won't hold back, as he eyed the man who appeared to be in his later 30s and had a scar going across his face from the left eye to the right jaw. Shinro said, I'll give you one advantage boy, you name the location of the fight since it will be your grave. Naruto said, the lake surrounding the village, making all the people in the room wide-eyed. Leela said, Naruto, that's going to give Shinro the advantage. Naruto said, have faith in me a little Mizukage-sama. I'm doing this to protect someone precious to me and by winning this then I get a certain person who traveling a warm welcome. So I chose the place, you chose the time. Leela frowned and thought, so he's fighting to free Zabuza to see if his apprentice is related to him, is family that important to you? Shinro said, 20 minutes boy and don't chicken out or I win. Naruto said, I need someone to show me to a weapon shop where I can get standard supplies and I'll be waiting for you. Leela stood up and said, I will take him to the shop and I order everyone here to watch this match because I will not have anyone else dishonor us by doubting the word of a feudal lord again. You're all dismissed, as she shot Shinro a glare who never took his eyes off Naruto before he left in a swirl of water. After he was gone Leela walked down and placed her hand on Naruto's shoulder and they appeared in her home and she screamed, what the hell were you thinking? You can't defeat Shinro. He's captain of our Black Ops. Naruto said, I can defeat him Leela, trust me please. I promise you I will be safe and I never break my promises. Leela looked away and after a few moments said, you better or I will never forgive you, as she turned and wrapped her arms around Naruto in a hug and said as she tried to hold back tears, please be careful, he may look old and weak but Shinro is a master of deception, stealth, and assassination. Naruto said, I'll be fine, I got more tricks up my sleeve than you could ever imagine. But I need some weapons. Leela bit her lip and said, follow me, as she walked down a hall and opened a door and Naruto followed her into the room and saw thousands of weapons and Naruto said, cool. I need standard senbons, kunais, and shurikens. Leela pointed toward the corner and Naruto walked over and saw what he was looking for and Naruto saw Leela looking at him worried and he smiled and said, I'll be fine but I don't want to ruin the surprise. Can you let me get armed in private? Leela glared and said, fine. I'll be waiting in the hall, as she left the room slamming the door. Naruto frowned as he shook his head and started arming himself and he heard Eva ask, do you really have to do this? Naruto thought, remember what the Water Lord said. The rule here is the strong rule and the weak follow. If I want to get these people to respect me and my request I am going to have to show them I am strong. Eva remained silent after that as she scanned all the weapons in the room as Naruto walked to the door and opened it and Leela said, ready. Naruto said, yeah. Leela kissed him and as she pulled back said, for luck, as she shushing them to the village gate and she saw the bridge had been closed off and the council was standing on the bridge and she walked over and Naruto followed and she said, where's Shinro? A swirl of water appeared and Shinro appeared in his tied Anbu uniform and had a mask of a dragon and he said, are you ready boy? Naruto jumped off the bridge onto the water below and said, "Whenever you are old man." Shinro jumped off the bridge and landed on the water, and Naruto looked at him as he made a hand sign and said, "Hidden mist no jutsu," as the water around him began to cover over. Shinro thought, "Stupid boy," as the mist covered him. Naruto's voice came from the mist and said, 8 points larynx, spine, lungs, liver, jugular, saccline artery, kidneys, heart. Now which one should I attack? Up on the bridge all the council members were looking at the water, and one of them said, "Is this boy stupid? Silent killing and the hidden mist jutsu are our ways of fighting." Leela thought, "It's also the way Zabuza fights." Shinro, hearing the sound of several voices, closed his eyes and focused on chakra detection and said, "Clever boy, using clones to make your voice come from different places." A chuckle was his response, and the air around him shimmered a moment as a shuriken flew at him and he threw one at it and it exploded, and Shinro said, "Exploding shurikens. I was not expecting that." As he flashed through hand signs and 3 more of him appeared and went into the mist as he threw a shuriken at one of the chakra sources, and a puff was heard signaling the death of a Kichibunshin. As that happened, Shinro frowned as he felt the chakra signatures waver before they disappeared, and he thought, "Where are you, boy?" Up on the bridge a councilwoman asked, "What's happening down there?" As they looked into the mist, as the sound of water parting was heard and 10 water dragons came out of the water and began to dive back into the mist, and Shinro jumped out of the mist and jumped onto the back of one of the water dragon and thought, "Okay, that was surprising. I can't find his signature, and, what the hell?" As he jumped off the water dragon that had ice forming along its body as it changed into an ice dragon. Shinro landed back in the mist and flashed through hand signs as a strong gust of wind blew the mist away, and he looked around, seeing the one ice dragon charging toward him as the 9 water dragons stacked themselves one on top of the other, enclosing him in an arena with the ice dragon. Leela said, "What will you do now, Shinro? He's made it where you can't escape unless you destroy his dragons," in a low voice. A voice behind here said, "He's actually got 3 choices from what I can tell," startling everyone on the bridge as they turned and saw Naruto standing there eating an apple, and Leela asked, "What the hell are you doing up here?" Naruto said, "I got bored so I went and bought an apple to eat while he fights my clones." Shinro, hearing the talking on the bridge and what Naruto said, had an eyebrow twitch, and he jumped on the head of the ice dragon and flashed through some hand signs and touched the dragon as lightning slid down its body and destroyed it. Naruto frowned as he saw all his water dragons also fall apart, and he said, "And what did my dragons ever do to you?" making everyone look at him like he was crazy. Shinro said, "Get down here, boy, and fight me or forfeit." Naruto said, Yeah. This is a fight to the death, idiot, just like my fight with Kisame, so keep your panties on," as he took his time and walked down the pillar before standing on the water. Shinro said, "You surprised me with your knowledge of water jutsu, but a few jutsu does not make you strong or show that you defeated Kisame." Naruto said, "I know. Truth is I haven't really had a chance to use my second element that much, and that was actually the first time I was able to make an ice jutsu. Thanks for the test, by the way," with a smile on his face. Shinro eyebrow twitched and he took a deep breath and said, "I know what you're trying to do and it won't work. I won't lose my cool." Naruto said, "Actually, that's not what I was trying to do. If I was trying to make you lose your cool, I would ask you how weak your brother was since he lost to a walking can of tuna." Shinro threw a kunai at Naruto, who turned into a puddle of water as another Naruto formed out of the water and said, "Thanks for the jutsu, by the way. I always wondered how to make a Mizubunshin." Shinro said, "You stole that from me. How? Do you have the Sharingan?" Naruto said, "I'm not a fucking Uchiha, jackass. Personally, I want to kill 2 of the 3 remaining Uchiha in the world, so don't insult me like that again. If you want to ask about a Sharingan, ask the one-eye pervert and the super pervert who's watching this battle from the tree line at 2 o'clock from your current location. I was wondering how long someone from Konoha would take to find me," as he looked at the woods. Leela looked there and screamed, "Tide, search the area and capture those men," as 8 Tide members appeared and ran across the bridge toward where Naruto said to look. In the woods, Kakashi was reading his book when the Tide got there, and he said, "Can I help you?" as he turned his page while Jiraiya was looking through his spy scope and said, "She's got some knockers on her." The Tide members said, "Both of you are to surrender to us at once, or we will be forced to kill you." Kakashi said, "Sure. No problem, we only came here to find the kid anyways, and we saw the battle and was waiting until it was over to speak with the Mizukage about him, but since he's here that will save us a lot of trouble." A Tide member in a shark mask said, "Very well, we will take you to the Mizukage, but should either of you try anything, then we will kill you without hesitations." Kakashi stood up, still reading his book, as Jiraiya put away his spyglass, and both began to walk with the group. As the group arrived on the bridge, Shinro looked at them and said, "Sharingan, Kakashi and Jiraiya of the Sannin. Why did you tell us they were there? Aren't you a Konoha ninja?" Naruto said, "Nope, and I'm not going to be either. So how much chakra you have, because you're standing on the water using chakra and I am not using any at the moment." Shinro frowned and said, "Okay, I give you that you're good, but I still do not believe that you defeated Kisame." Shinro was forced to jump backwards as Samehada nearly took his head off. As Naruto jumped out of the water raising his arm, he fired a senbon at Shinro, who dodged, and as the senbon hit the water it exploded. Naruto put his hands together and said, "Demon Hunter no Jutsu." As 5 Naruto appeared and 2 turned into windmill shurikens, and they were tossed at Shinro, who replaced himself with a Kijibunshin and stabbed the 2 beside him and threw a shuriken at both windmill shurikens, and he dodged to the side as Naruto threw a raisin shuriken at him, and Naruto flew into the air off the water, flashing through hand signs, and said, "Kamaitake no Jutsu." As he swung Samehada that he pulled off his back, and blades of wind shot from each of the teeth and flew at him as he dived under the water. As the attack ended, Naruto appeared beside him with a kunai at his neck and said, "It's over." Shinro said, "You're right, it is over. For you." As he dissolved into water, as the real Shinro jumped out of the water, slicing into Naruto, who disappeared in a puff of smoke, but as it did, it instantly reappeared, kicking Shinro in the air as the Naruto, still in the air, flew behind Shinro, wrapping his arms around him as he continued to climb while spinning before he turned and flew toward the water, and when they hit, a huge splash soaking everyone on the bridge appeared. Everyone was shocked by this, and Naruto slowly flew up off the water, holding Shinro by the foot, floated over to the bridge and softly set him on the bridge and said, "He's not dead, and if you get him some medical attention he won't be for a long time. Be right back." As he backflipped off the bridge into the water below, grabbing the remote ball that made the Kijibunshin that kicked Shinro in the air in the first place. Naruto walked back up on the bridge and saw the council members all looking at him shocked, and noticed that Shinro was gone, and Leela said, "Did you have to make such a big splash? My dress is ruined," as she looked at her dress that was soaked. Naruto said, "Hey, I think what you had on last night looked better anyways," making Leela blush. Leela looked at Kakashi and Jiraiya and said, "What do 2 Leaf Ninja want here? Answer or I will kill you." Jiraiya said, "We request to speak to the Mizukage about this, not the Gaki girlfriend." Naruto said quietly, "Oh shit," as he looked at Jiraiya and then at Leela, whose eye was twitching. A Tide member said, "Show some respect to the Mizukage or I will kill you." Jiraiya said, "I'll show respect to the Mizukage when I see him." Naruto said, "Herero-sanin, and you just insulted her," making Kakashi look at Leela again, and Jiraiya said, "Don't call me that, Gaki." Naruto said, "Pardon me, Mizukage-sama, but I believe that these 2 gentlemen are under the impression that they need to find me and return me to their village. After all, it would not do well for public appearances for the son of one of the village leaders as well as a Jinchuriki to be running around loose where they could join another village. Unfortunately for them, the Hidden Leaf village has no legal basis to claim me as one of theirs or attempt to make me return there, and seeing as I am a busy man and I know you and your council is also busy, I would like to return to the negotiations we were discussing earlier after we all have a chance to freshen up from my last attack. Until then, I think some time locked away in a comfortable holding cell for these 2 would keep them quite nicely until this matter can be cleared up and restitutions can be made on their behalf to myself and your village for wasting our time." Leela smirk said, "I believe that does sound like a good idea. Tide. Lock 'em up until I can sort this out, as the feudal lord of Wave has stated we have wasted enough time today already with disrespectful persons." Kakashi frowned as Jiraiya said, "Go with it for now, Kakashi. They got us over a barrel at the moment and we don't want to start a fight here and now." As he looked at Naruto and then the Tide members at both ends of the bridge as well as the state, some of the council members were standing in, showing they were shinobi also. Kakashi said, "Yes, Jiraiya-sama," as he put his book away and was handcuffed, as was Jiraiya before being took to a holding cell. Several hours later, after the meeting with the council, Naruto slumped onto the couch in Leela's home and she sat down beside him and said, "Did you really have to carry that meeting out that long over 15 cents? Naruto said, "Business is business. I wasn't the man I am right now. I was a leader talking to another group of leaders to get what is best for my people. Besides that 15 cents on each shipment will cover the cost of those missions I requested each year plus enough for a bonus mission if it is required. Leela sighed and said, I didn't expect you to be so good with numbers to figure that out. Naruto chuckled and said, I'm not. You can thank Tsunami and Eva for that. I'm good at motivating, fighting, and leading. But a good general knows when to listen to his men. Leela sat her head in his lap and said, True, very true, so what are we going to do about those two? I can't kill them or it could start a war with my village and them, and right now we can't handle a drawn-out war. Naruto closed his eyes and said, a heavy fine and a message to the Hokage about proper etiquette should be sent to the Hokage. I have the same problem though. I need to send a message to the Hokage to warn him about the attack, but if I do the people of Wave will be pulled in. Leela blinked and sat up and looked at Naruto and asked, what attack? Naruto said, Orochimaru has created his own village called the Hidden Sound. I don't know where it is and only know about it because one of the people he experimented on who escaped came through Wave to catch a ship as far away as he could, but he didn't have any money, so he traded information with me in exchange for passage. It seems Orochimaru is planning to assassinate the Kazekage and impersonate him to have Suna aid in attacking Konoha, and Konoha has a spy in their midst that I know the name of. Leela thought a moment and said, I got an idea. Naruto blinked and looked at her and asked, as he was confused trying to figure out an answer to his problem. The next day Jiraiya and Kakashi were brought before the Mizukage and Naruto was sitting there in a chair beside her and she said, please have a seat, in a commanding voice as she motioned for the two chairs in front of her desk. Both men sat down and she said, leave us, and the Tide member that brought them in, and they left in a swirl of mist. Once they were gone she looked at Jiraiya and Kakashi and said, so explain, why have you come to the land of water and was outside my village? Jiraiya said, we came here looking for the Gaki beside you. Naruto said, you will refer to me with proper respect, Jiraiya, or I will slap Konoha and the Fire Country with a trade embargo so large you're going to have to eat your own shit to even dream of tasting fresh food for the rest of your life, in a commanding tone. Jiraiya asked, and what makes you think you have the power to do that, and what is the respectful title you claim to have, Gaki? Naruto smiled a sick smile and said, ever heard of Gato Shipping Corporation? Gato dead and all his assets have been seized by my country for crimes committed there, and my title is Feudal Lord of Wave, making both men wide-eyed. Leela took that moment and said, and thanks to the new trade agreement that Naruto Dono was here to negotiate with the Hidden Mist Village, we are now allies with them. Jiraiya frowned and thought, this is not good. With those companies he really could slap a trade embargo on us, and with the backing of the Mist he got enough military backing we can't do anything. And said, I am sorry then for my disrespect, Naruto-sama. I was not aware of your station. I will not make the same mistake again. Naruto nods and said, if you would, Leela Dono. Leela said, yes. Now I want to know exactly why have you been trying to find Naruto, and do not lie or the penalty will be your lives. Jiraiya said, we were ordered by the Sandaime Hokage to track down Naruto after someone impersonated the Hokage and tricked him into leaving the village. At this time we believe the person who impersonated the Hokage was a member of the traitorous organization known as Root, who want revenge on Naruto for him giving us information on their base of operation. Naruto narrowed his eyes and asked, and how did Danzo know I was the one who told the Sandaime about that? Kakashi said, if I may. After the attack on the base and the discovery that Danzo had time to take his strongest followers and flee the village, we had two choices to believe. One was that we had a spy in our Anbu who was reporting to him, or that there had to be a leak in the Hokage office. After you left, the Sandaime had his entire office deconstruction, and we found a book that had been replaced that allowed all conversation in the Hokage office to be sent to Danzo base. It is because of this we believe that Danzo wished to trick you into leaving the village with the information you discussed with the Sandaime so that he could capture you and turn you over to a group that is after you because of the Kyuubi. Naruto leaned back in his chair and crossed his arms and thought, so you did find the book that Tsunade found when she took over Hajiji? Good. And said, so Danzo has connections to Akatsuki, making both Kakashi and Jiraiya wide-eyed and Leela to smirk. Jiraiya asked, how do you know about them, Naruto-sama, if I might ask? Naruto said, I assume Itachi cover been pulled since Kisame was by himself when I killed him. Jiraiya said, you killed Kisame. Leela said, yes he did. Jiraiya thought, then he's stronger than I expected him to be, and said, that is good, and since you know of them you know of the danger Akatsuki present to you. Naruto said, yes, in fact I believe I have more information on him than even you do, Jiraiya-sama. I am sure Itachi told you about Pain, Deidara, Konan, Zetsu, Kisame, Kakazu, Hiden, Sasori, and the true leader Uchiha Madara. Am I correct? Jiraiya said, you seem to be well aware of the information Akatsuki present. Naruto said, Leela Dono, would you mind informing the Leaf Village about our mutual enemy as a sign of trust? Leela blinked and said, very well. Madara Uchiha was the Sandai Mizukage who started the bloodline war in my country and was responsible for the deaths of many of our people. When he stepped down he named my brother, Yagura, the Jinchuriki of the Sanbi. My brother was a puppet to him and only at the end was he able to break free of Madara naming me his successor before the seal Madara broke with his Sharingan was to release the Sanbi. He made it away from the land of mist and at this time we believe my brother is dead. Officially at this time we are still recovering from Madara destruction of our lands and until the recent information Naruto-kun brought us we had no idea what he was up to. If we can gather more information on him that showed that he has betrayed the hidden mist village we can actively begin to take actions against him but at the moment he is a retired shinobi of our land and we have nothing to go against him. Jiraiya said, then perhaps it would be a good idea if we were to share information on this group. Naruto said, perhaps but first we need to come to an agreement about restitution for seeking me out as you have when you have no claim to me and for intruding into the land of water and the hidden mist village without permission. Kakashi frowned and Jiraiya said, very well. What will all restitutions be? Leela said, you yourself Jiraiya will pay the price of 3S rank mission to the hidden mist village. You and Kakashi will then carry out the mission and should the client for the mission find things are satisfactory then information my village has gathered that pertains to the future of the hidden leaf village will be given to you from the client of the mission. Also all leaf ninja that come to the land of water will have to get written permission from the senior ranking mist ninja at our outpost in Wave Country. Failure to not obtain that written permission will result in the imprisonment or death of the offender depending on the reason for him or her coming here. Jiraiya said, what are the missions? Leela said, you will escort the Wave Lord after he is finished with his business here to his home country of Wave and stay with him on his trip to Konoha. After the business he has with the Leaf Village is complete you are to escort him back to Wave when he is ready to return there. Jiraiya smiled and said, we agree. Leela said, good. That is the restitutions you have to make to me. Naruto said, now as for me that is another matter. Because of the agreement that I have made with the hidden mist village you are to make a change to your bingo book pertaining to a person in it. I want Zabuza Momoki to have a flea on sight order placed on him for all you hunter nins. Kakashi said, but Zabuza is an A-rank missing nin. Why do you want us to leave him alone and give him something that only your father was given? Naruto said, mind your place Hataki-san. My reasons are my own and you can place it in your bingo book that I was the one who requested the change. Now on to the second matter. All information on Akatsuki is to be shared with me and in return I will return all information with the Leaf Village. I want the monetary value of $1 million to be paid to me by Jiraiya and I want all information you have on Snow Ninja as well as any jutsu that you copied from him as well as 10 Suten jutsu that you copied that I do not have already. Kakashi frowned and looked at Jiraiya whose face was neutral and he asked, and if I refuse? Naruto said, then I will destroy the last link you have to Obito. As a Kijibunshin appeared behind Kakashi with a Senbon needle pointing at Kakashi's Sharingan eye that was covered up. Kakashi frowned behind his mask and said, very well but why are you so hostile toward us? Naruto was silent for a moment and stood up walking over to the window and said, Jiraiya is my godfather and yet yesterday was the first time I have ever laid eyes on him. I understand he had duties to Konoha maintaining his spy network but why couldn't he have been there in my life when he was spying on women in the hot springs or fucking them in the whore houses that he visited or when he was passed out in hotel rooms drunk? I know he's bought hotel rooms in many villages to save him time and money that he uses to peep on women. He didn't because I am a painful reminder of my father and I was forced to be alone. In a village full of people I was forced to be alone. As for you Kakashi, you were my father's prized student. You claim those who break the rules are trash but those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. During your days as Inu when the Sandaime ordered you to watch over me you would protect me from some of the physical attacks I had but once the immediate danger was gone then so were you. You however were never there when I was told I was a bastard child that no one wanted or a monster who should never have been born to live. You were never there when I went to bed hungry or the year I lived on the streets after the orphanage kicked me out. You didn't break the rules but you abandoned me, just like you would have if I would have graduated the academy. After all, you had to pay Obito back by training Sasuke and ignoring Sakura and me instead of training us equally. You can deny it all you want but you know it's the truth. After all, why should you waste your time training someone who, because of a village full of abuse and neglect, he appears to be an idiot when you could train the prodigy that reminds you of you, while like Jiraiya I am a painful reminder of your Genin team and late sensei. As I stated, I have no loyalty to Konoha and for the most part one would take front row seat in watching it burn to the ground. But there are a few people in Konoha who are precious to me and for them I was willing to put up with the hate Konoha gave me and for them I am willing to protect that hell hole. But I am not a tool of that village. Leela during Naruto's speech was clenching her fist as she glared at both men, and Jiraiya and Kakashi looked humbled by what Naruto said, and Kakashi said, I will give you what you ask. Naruto said, good. Now to show you that I am still faithful to my friends and comrades and I haven't abandoned them, I will give you some information that could save the Leaf Village, but without the rest of it that the Mizukage informed me of, then it's really useless. Orochimaru is planning an attack on the Leaf Village, making both men wide-eyed with shock expressions. Jiraiya said, how do you know and when is he planning to attack? Naruto said, sorry, that info is all you will get and all I owe the Leaf Village. Everything else will cost you. Now if that is all you have, I need to speak with the Water Lord about all that has happened and I will need to return to my country tomorrow, Leela-chan. I hope it's not too much trouble having me in your village one more day. Leela said, no trouble Naruto-kun, and you can stay at my home again tonight, after all we are to be married, making both Jiraiya and Kakashi wide-eyed. Naruto said, true but not yet. I wish to wait until the current situation is taken care of so I can spend time with you and my other fiancé. Leela said, of course. Take these men back to their cells and make sure they are given bread and water. They will be leaving tomorrow with the Wave Lord. The Tide members who came in the room took Jiraiya and Kakashi away, and after they were gone Leela got up and said, you know, I think it's time I visited Dad again. I'll come with you. Naruto said, sure. But one question. He said you tried to kill him, and why does he call you that? Leela chuckled and said, the last time he told me I needed to get a husband was right after I became Mizukage. I told him that I had duties to my village and he said I was going to die an old maid. I kicked him in the balls and threatened to cut him off if he ever said either of those things to me again. Ever since then H has called me that. Naruto laughed as they left the office. As Naruto and Leela walked into the throne room of Hida, the Water Lord, he looked at them and said, our Wave-san, Mizukage-san, to what do I owe the pleasure of your visit? Leela eyebrow twitched and said, do I need to kick your ass again, Dad? Hida laughed and said, see what I mean about her being crazy, so what brings you both here? Naruto said, well, I came by to get that info you promised me, some things have come up and I need to leave tomorrow. Hida said, yes, I heard about the Konoha nins here looking for you. I have it all here in this scroll. By the way, I contacted Ichigo in Lightning Country and he sent me a reply that he will meet you in Wave when you return to inform you about the Uzumakis. Naruto said, thanks. That will save me a trip. Forgive me for asking, but I was able to negotiate a trade treaty with the Hidden Mist Village, but I realize now that the Hidden Mist does not have any control on the trade of the rest of the Land of Water. You do, right? Hida said, yes. I was wondering when you would figure that out. I am surprised that it only took you this long to realize that. But I think my daughter here had something to do with that. After all, she's been groomed to take over for me since birth. Isn't that right, dear? Leela growled and Naruto shot a look at her and Hida said, I can tell by the fact she came here with you that something has happened between the two of you. She doesn't spend time with people unless she's close to them, so what has happened? Leela said, I've decided to marry him and help him continue his bloodline since he might be the only one left of it. Hida said, oh excellent. So when is the wedding? The sooner the better. Naruto rubbed his head and said, we haven't really talked about that yet. Hida said, how about today, right now in fact? Leela screamed, hell no, making both men look at her. Naruto started to open his mouth and she shot him a look and said, don't. This is a matter between my father and me. I will decide when I get married and you will not force my hand. Hida said, 3 years. I give you 3 years to complete this nonsense you are on and you will marry Naruto. I have researched and found that in that time he will turn 18 and you will turn 25. The perfect age for you to start thinking about settling down and starting a family. You both will get married the first day of spring after he turns 18. You have until then to find and train a successor for Mizukage, or I will stop all funding to that village and forbid any shinobi from entering these lands. I have put up with your independence all these years so that you could try and rescue your brother, but he is dead now and you have other responsibilities to not only your family but your people. You are the last living child of the feudal Lord of Water. That makes you the next in line for this throne. I have been lenient enough to you over the years, but it stops now. Do I make myself clear? As he looked at her in the eyes. Naruto frowned and started to open his mouth when Eva said, "Don't. This fight has nothing to do with you and both will be mad if you get involved." Naruto sighed and Leela said, "I understand, father." Hida said, "Good. Now then, since you understand your responsibilities, I will let you handle the negotiations with your future husband for the Land of Water. I trust your judgment to do the right thing." Leela glared at her father and said, "Now I remember why I tried to stab you." Hida asked, "Which time?" Naruto said, "Stab. You never said anything about stabbing him." Leela said, "Quite you," as she never took her eyes off her dad. Naruto said, "Fine," as he turned and started to walk away. Leela turned and said, "Where the hell are you going?" Naruto said, "I hate politics, so I will make this quick. Take the deal we made for the Hidden Mist Village and add 3% interest to cover the cost of any missions to deal with bandits or thieves. Sound fair?" Leela blinked and Hida burst out laughing and said, "I don't believe it, you actually got her to shut up." Naruto said, "I know how to use my tongue, grandpa," making Leela get a nosebleed and Hida to glare at Naruto, who took the scroll that Hida told him had all the information on his family. A few moments of silence later, Hida looked at Leela and said, "I'll give this to you, girl, you got a man who knows what he wants." Naruto blinked as he looked around the room and began to circle around the room, catching both Leela and Hida attention, and Leela asked, "What's wrong?" Naruto said, "We're not alone," as he looked around. Leela tensed and asked, "Are you sure?" Naruto said, "Yeah, it's not a person and it's cold-blooded, but there's something here," as he looked around. Hida was tensed as Leela walked over by him and asked, "A summon?" Naruto said, "Maybe, but if it's not one I've seen before." Just then there was a pop sound and all three looked in the direction the noise came from and saw a small puff of smoke. Naruto frowned and Leela asked, "Did you see what it was?" Naruto said, "Hold on a second, what the hell?" as he started toward the door. Leela asked, "What is it? What was the summon?" Naruto looked back and said, "It wasn't a summon, it's," as he opened the door and there was a little boy about 6 years old standing at the door. Hida burst out laughing and Leela slapped her head and said, "Idiot." Naruto blinked and looked back as the little boy ran into the room and jumped up on Leela, knocking her to the ground. Naruto raised an eyebrow as the little boy licked Leela's face and she was laughing as she laid on the ground. Naruto looked confused and Hida laughed even harder seeing the look and said, "Naruto, let me introduce you to Kippy. Kippy, say hello to Naruto," making the little boy look at Naruto before arching his back and growling at Naruto. Naruto said, "What's his problem?" Leela got up and slapped Kippy's nose and said, "Bad Kippy. Sit." Kippy sat down on his butt and whined a little and Leela said, "Change back normal, Kippy." Naruto raised an eyebrow as Kippy was covered in smoke and the little boy was replaced with a red fox. Naruto said, "Oh, so you can do that also," as he was covered in smoke and he appeared as a blonde fox. The red fox got on its feet and growled before it went over and sniffed Naruto and whimpered as it lowered its head, and Naruto changed back and Leela said, "What was that?" "It wasn't a henge," as she looked at Naruto curiously. Naruto said, "It's a shapeshift. In fact, I don't think I actually can do a henge. It wasn't until a medic told me that something was wrong with it that I found out what I was doing wasn't a henge. The medic warned me if I kept using it the way I was at the time, since it was mostly a joke to bash perverts, that I might accidentally get pregnant. We didn't know if it was because of my parents or because of QB that I was able to do it. I guess that if Kippy here can do it, then it must be because of QB. But why does that fox not have body heat?" Leela said, "Actually, it does, but my brother wanted to try and mimic the Inuzuka clan and form a battle companion, but he didn't know how to make it where the animal could understand orders from its partner, so he tried feeding it chakra from an early age. Kippy here was the only one to survive, and since my brother had Sanbi, the Sanbi chakra mixed with his, and Naruto said, and into the kit here and changed him to a cold-blooded creature instead of a warm-blooded. Hida said, yes, and the reason he was in the room earlier was because he was asleep by the fireplace over there. I guess Leela and I both are so used to him that we hardly ever notice him. He learned over the years that when there is someone else than me here, then he should leave, so that was why he left like he did. He learned to shushan and shapeshift by watching Leela train when she was younger. Naruto said, I see, sorry for worrying you. When Eva told me there was another chakra signature here, I went on alert. Hida asked, Eva. Naruto sighed and Eva appeared in a hologram form and bowed and said, hello, your lordship. I am Eva, his companion and aide, as she disappeared. Hida said, interesting. I assume she's some sort of jutsu. Naruto said, something like that, but I would prefer not to go into more details. Then she helps me when she can and alerts me to anything that could be a threat so I could survive. She represents faith and a promise in me that I am trying to fulfill. Hida nods and said, I see. Well, since you both have finished that business and all and we have set the date for your wedding, I want to ask, what do you both plan for the future? I mean, when two lords such as yourself marry, there is a joining of lands as such, and you both need to decide what to do about it, since other lords are going to be interested in this and you will have to notify them and invite them to your wedding as not to insult them. Naruto frowned and said, I may be the lord of Wave, but Wave belongs to its people. I do only what I feel is best for them to make their life better, and while a joining of the two lands would be the ideal choice, I will not let them suffer like they did before under someone who doesn't care about those who isn't him or her. Wave is the first place I could actually call home and feel safe about it. The people know all about the QB that was sealed in me or accept me as me. That is worth more to me than any amount of fame or money. With a strong commanding voice, Hida looked at his daughter, and Leela was quite a moment, and after a few moments she bit her lip and looked in deep thought, and she closed her eyes and said, the joining of Wave and Water would be a union that would benefit both lands in the long run by giving Water a chance to be more involved in the world choices than we are, and would give Wave the backing of a larger country. Naruto bit his lip and said, the future of both the countries is something that can't be decided in a single day. We must both listen to our people and decide what to do from there, so this discussion would be better debated at a later date. Leela said, I agree. We have 3 years to decide on the next course of action. Naruto nods and Hida said, excellent. You're both working together so well, with a smile on his face making both glare at him. Hida said, now listen well, Namikaze. Leela is my only remaining child. My son was kidnapped and turned into a weapon of a madman, and my wife was murdered by said madman. While I care about the land of Water, I care for her and her happiness more. I am giving you my blessing to marry my daughter because I can see the kind of person you are from what little I have seen of you. You would break the gates of hell and kill the strongest demon there to save your friends and family, so I trust that you will do the same for Leela. She is a strong woman and has many things that make her a great asset to you, because even though you are doing well so far, you are way out of your league in the long-term political situation of the world. Leela was groomed to be my successor and I let her rescue her brother, which she did, but she is also a veteran when it comes to the battleground of politics. Trust her and her assistance and she will serve you and your people well. Naruto said, I thank you for your blessing and I will protect her with my life as I would any of my precious people. Leela said, hey, I'm not a weak little girl and I'm standing right here. Naruto said, I never said you were weak and I never would think it either. I still don't see why people think women are, because some of the strongest of people I know are women. All your father is asking me in his own way is to make sure when you're killing the 200 men in front of you, I kill the coward trying to stab you in the back. Right. As he looked at Hida. Hida said, you are correct, Namikaze. Now I am sure you both have a lot to do before you leave tomorrow, so don't let an old man like me take all your time. Get on out of here. Leela walked up and kissed her father on the cheek and whispered, thank you for your blessing, father, as she stepped back and said, and I will carry out that threat if you ever insult my strength again, as she turned and stomped out the door. Hida smiled and said, you sure picked a Spitfire, boy. Good luck. Naruto said, thanks, as he ran after Leela. After he was gone, Kippy ran over and sat on Hida's lap and Hida pet him and said, I haven't seen her this happy since her brother passed away. You are truly an amazing person, Naruto. You change people for the better and bring happiness for those around you, even with the heavy burden you carry. I hope when he learns the truth about his family he is not destroyed by it, as his smile faded. Naruto caught up with Leela outside the throne room and she said, "Come on, let's go do something." Naruto said, "Like what?" "I mean I'm kind of new here so." Leela thought and asked, "You dance?" Naruto's eyes got big and said, "Some," as a smile formed on his face. Leela grabbed his arm and began to drag him away to a ballroom and she walked toward a jukebox and hit it with her hip and music started to play and they got close and began to dance together slowly. Leela laid her head on Naruto's shoulder and she said, "When I was little I used to think this castle was a prison since I was never allowed to leave because of the dangers and I would pretend I was a captured princess and that I was being held until my Prince Charming would come and rescue me and take me away and we would be married and dance until we're old and gray. Of course back then all I knew about living happily ever after was from books I read and they always showed the prince and princess dancing at the end so I couldn't have known about other things, much more enjoyable things," as she leaned forward and kissed his lips. They kissed and danced the day away, laughing, singing, and holding each other close. The next day at the docks where the ship Naruto came in on was docked. Naruto was standing with Jiraiya, Kakashi, Leela, and Shinro who had his arm in a sling and he looked at Naruto and said, "I underestimated you because of your age Namikaze-sama. Thank you for sparing my life," as he bowed. Naruto walked forward and offered his hand and Shinro hesitantly shook it and Naruto said, "There are people younger than me and stronger than a cage. You are a strong shinobi and had you not underestimated me then you might have won that battle. Learn from this defeat and use it to save your people and country." Shinro smiled and said, "I will Namikaze-sama." Naruto said, "Just call me Naruto, I hate formalities outside of politics usually." Shinro said, "And just call me Shinro then Naruto," with a smile. Naruto nods and pulled out a scroll and handed it to Shinro who asked, "What is this?" Naruto said, "I may be many things but I am not a thief or an ally. I learned the Mizabuntion from you so here is one I am sure you don't know to make up for it." Shinro opened the scroll and went wide-eyed and Naruto said, "I only ask that you do not give it to anyone outside of your family." Shinro said, "Thank you for this gift but are you sure you're willing to give this to me?" Naruto shrugged and said, "I did what I felt was right," as he walked over to Leela who said, "I look forward to the next time the Lord of Wave comes to my village." Naruto said, "And I look forward to the spring and be counting the days. I will come as often as I can. We still have many long discussions for the future of both our lands to discuss." Leela nods and Naruto smirked as he reached for her hand and kissed it softly. Leela blushed and said, "Safe journey Naruto." Naruto said, "Rule well Leela," as he handed her a scroll as well. Leela looked confused and said, "What's this?" Naruto said, "I gift. Read the last line on the scroll first." Leela opened the scroll and read it before her eyes got wide and she said, "I thank you. This will be very useful to me and help me rule better." Naruto said, "Until we meet again princess." Leela nods and turns and started to walk away and Naruto watched as Shinro left with her and sighed and began walking toward the ship that brought him to the land of water. Jiraiya and Kakashi shot each other a look and began to follow him. As Leela reached the end of the dock Shinro looked at Leela as she walked away and as he followed her he asked, "What was that about the spring if I might ask Mizukage-sama?" Leela said, "It's a little joke between us. Nothing to worry about." Shinro said, "I see. I thought that there might have been something more going on between you and Naruto since you left your office closed basically for the entire time since he arrived." Leela said, "I was merely showing a very important ally the proper respect that his position requires. Nothing more." Shinro said, "And the several hours sex fest each night was aggressive negotiations I suppose," with a smirk as Leela stumbled. Leela looked as Shinro shocked and Shinro said, "My wife is in charge of housekeeping at the Mizukage mansion. The maids told her and she told me. Dot and Susan, the baker's wife." Leela said, "Damn gossiping woman," as her cheeks blushed. Shinro said, "So what's really going on then?" Leela sighed and looked around and said, "This is classified for only you. 3 years. 3 years and I will be stepping down as Mizukage and my father will be retiring. He will retire at my wedding ceremony," making Shinro eyes wide. He said, "I see. Naruto is a very lucky man, honorable as well. Thank you for informing me but if I may ask, who will be the Rokudai Mizukage?" Leela bit her lip and said, "I have 3 choices that I have been thinking about but I want to wait another year before choosing." I have a lot of work to show the world the greatness of the hidden mist and not the bloody mist we were known as. Shinro said, yes Mizukage-sama, as he remained silent. When Naruto got on the ship he saw 12 mist nins on board and he said, I take it that you are the teams being sent to Wave. I am Naruto Namikaze, Lord of Wave. One of the mist nins with orange eyes said, greetings Namikaze-sama. I am Odin and the leader for this mission. I am also the Junin sensei of Team 5, as 3 Genins bow. Odin pointed to the left and said, this is Sajin and Squad 6, as a man with white hair stepped forward and 3 Genins bowed. Odin pointed to the right and said, this is Riku and her Squad 4, as 3 more Genins stepped forward and bowed. Odin stepped aside and said, and last is Ko, Ra, Semi. These 3 are Chunin level medic nins as you requested. Naruto nods and said, have you all been briefed as to what is expected of you yet? Odin said, no sir. All we were told was you would brief us once we met you. Naruto smiled and said, all right then. Now this mission is going to be long term. In fact the mission will expand indefinitely but you will be in Wave until the Mizukage decides to send another team to replace you. As of right now you are the first but I expect teams from Konoha, Iwa, Kumo, and Suna also to be in Wave before the end of your rotation in. Now you are not to attack them as each of you will be on the same mission, making all 12 nins wide-eyed as well as Kakashi and Jiraiya who was a few feet back listening. Odin asked, if I may ask, what exactly is this mission? Naruto said, Wave Country is currently recovering from our liberation from the enslavement by a greedy businessman named Gato who blockaded the island and killed any who got in his path before we liberated ourselves. As such we are having to basically start over in some ways and others we are ahead. Now the 3 Genin teams will be in charge of protection of Wave, the people of Wave, the bridge connecting Wave to Fire Country and my fiancée Tsunami who is regent of Wave when I am not there, her son Inari, and her father Tazuna who is the new mayor of the only village currently in Wave. The 3 medics will work on first starting a clinic to treat any sickness or injuries that are experienced by either one of your teams or the people of Wave. After the other medics start arriving they will work together in creating a hospital in Wave. This hospital will not be like other hospitals though. It will become the up-to-date hospital in all of the elemental nations with trained medics with experience and knowledge of all the hidden villages put together, making everyone wide-eyed. Naruto saw this and said, I have plans to request Tsunade Senju come and take over as head of the hospital and have her start a medical program that would make doctors and nurses from everywhere want to come train, making each of the medics look at each other in excitement. Jiraiya said, she won't do it. You have no chance to get her to agree to become the head of your hospital. Naruto turned and asked, you will remember your place Jiraiya. You are still considered a prisoner until your fines and penalties are done so please do not think that you know everything when you know nothing. I know all about Tsunade and her history. I am well aware of her assistant Shizune and why she follows Tsunade. I know all about why she refuses to step foot in Konoha and why she hates the position of Hokage. I even know about her grandfather's cursed necklace and what her fear that cripples her is so please shut up, as he turned his back on Jiraiya who was shocked. Naruto cleared his throat and said, sorry about that. Look at him and see why you don't see very many old ninjas. They think they know everything and it gets them killed, making some of the Genin snicker. Naruto said, now then there are a few things that you should know about. Your village already recognizes this since I chose yours to be the first I visited but Wave is a neutral territory. In the event of a war between nations no fighting is to be done in Wave. Any country that breaks that rule will have their country placed under a blockade for 5 years where no trade will come to that country. In other words it will not only ruin their economy but also there is the fact all those who are allied with Wave will not trade with the country that broke the rule and if it is a ninja village that breaks the rule all other hidden villages allied with Wave will declare war on that village. Now I am not saying you won't get a chance to spar against ninja from another village or that if you have a reason to fight one that it can't happen but there is a procedure you will have to follow. As of right now we don't have a head of security on the island so you will have to come see either myself, the Mayor Tazuna, or my Regent Tsunami and we will authorize a fight in a designated area under supervision from a Junin of both villages as well as the supervision of the one who gave permission. The fight is only between those involved and anyone who gets involved in the fight besides them will be considered breaking the rule of keeping Wave neutral. When I have found someone to be head of security you will request permission from him or her. The head of security decision will be final, so if he says there is no killing in a match and one of you try to kill the person you're fighting, he will have permission to kill you to keep the peace. Do you all understand? I will not have Wave become a battleground or have its people subjected to prejudice and hate. Odin said, "We understand, Naruto-sama, and we will follow your rules." Naruto said, "Good. Now just because of this rule does not mean you can't spar against your own ninja, so as long as you do it on the training ground that will be given to your village, anything that happens there falls under the jurisdiction of your village rules, but if another village is involved it is required to be supervised. There is two other matters. When we reach Wave, I am expecting the feudal lord of Lightning Country to be either already there or arriving in the next few days. You will show him and any escort he has the proper respect. Also, have you heard about the recent change in the bingo book concerning one Zabuza Momoki, also known as the Demon of the Mist?" Each of the Junins tensed and Odin said, "We are not aware of any changes." Naruto reached into his vest and pulled out a scroll and unsealed a bingo book and flipped a few pages and handed it to Odin, and Naruto said, "I am trying to get into contact with a party that is traveling with Zabuza. As such, I have went out of my way to make sure the party I am trying to contact will be alive to meet me, so as of now Zabuza is considered an exiled ninja of the Land of Mist and will not be hunted or attacked. If he attacks you and there is a danger to your life, then you are allowed to defend yourself, but if he attacks you and you force him to flee or wound him where he is unable to continue to fight, you are not to kill him. The Mizukage has expressed an interest into possibly reclaiming him as a ninja of your village, since his own crime against the Hidden Mist or the Land of Water was to kill the Sandai Mizukage to end the bloodline war he created. Tell me, how do you graduate from the Hidden Mist Academy, Genin?" As he looked at one who was a little taller than the others. The Genin said, "We are tested in our ability to show we have an understanding of weapons, hand-to-hand combat, and the basics." Naruto smiled and looked at the Odin and said, "You were one from the Bloody Mist, correct?" Odin frowned and said, "Yes." Naruto said, "Does all of the Genin know the difference between when you graduated and they graduated?" Odin said, "Yes. We teach them that in their first year so they know that our village is changing." Naruto looked at the Genin who answered before and asked, "Do you know why there was a change in the way you graduated?" The Genin looked at the others and shook his head, and Naruto said, "Because one year a kid who wasn't even in the graduating class walked into the room where the graduating class was preparing to fight each other to the death, and he killed every single one of them so that your village would change the way they did things. That student was none other than Zabuza Momoki and is why he is called the Demon of the Mist. ... I told you this and reminded your Junins of this for one reason only. I do not agree with Zabuza methods that he went about changing things, but I do admire the fact that he at least tried to change the ways things are done. People view shinobi as tools that are to be used and then thrown away after they have served their purpose. I do not believe this, and neither should you. I believe that people become shinobi to gain the strength to protect what is precious to you. Think about your friends, family and loved ones back home. If it came down to a choice of completing a mission that will cost you your life so that they would live and be safe, would you do it? I know I would, and that is what makes my belief different. I was born and raised in Konoha and I hate that village with a passion. But there are a few people there who made my life worth living. For those people I would die protecting Konoha even though I am not a Konoha ninja. I would also die for the people of Wave because they are my friends and family, and there are people in the Hidden Mist that I would die to protect your home because they are precious to me. Because of those that are precious to me, I have the strength to stare death in the face, and I will kill any who threaten to harm those precious to me. I may be a civilian, but the only person on this boat at the moment I am not 100% sure I could kill if it came down to it is Jiraiya, and that's only because of his years of experience. Let me demonstrate to you exactly why I think I could do that." Naruto jumped back and put his hands together and said, "Tajukage Bunshin no Jutsu." As the entire deck was covered in smoke, and when it cleared there were over 400 Kagebunshin standing on the deck with a Rasengan in one hand and a Rasen Shuriken in the other. Jiraiya and Kakashi were both shocked, and Naruto said as he held up a Rasengan, "This is the Rasengan, an assassination jutsu created by my father, the Yondaime Hokage of Konoha. This is the Rasen Shuriken, a jutsu created by me. The one real difference is this can't be thrown," holding up the Rasengan as he smiled and said, "This can," as they all threw the extrasensory in the air at one point, and when all of them hit they exploded and a shock wave destroyed all the Kagebunshin and knocked the others on the deck while the ship rocked. When the smoke cleared, Naruto was standing there leaning on the same hadder and said, "So, does anyone think that because I may be only 16 and a politician I'm a weak nobody that you can ignore?" As he unleashed some ki which made the Genins fall to their knees. He waited a moment and stopped the ki and looked at Kakashi and Jiraiya, who were both looking at him in shock, and Naruto said, "That is all I wanted to say. It will be tomorrow before we get to Wave, so please go below deck and a crewman will show you to the rooms you can sleep in. I wish to talk with the two perverts alone." Naruto waited a few minutes as all the mist nins left, and Naruto said, "All right, it's just the three of us now, so drop all the formalities. I know I've been busting your balls for the past few days and you're wanting to talk, so talk now or forever hold your peace." Kakashi looked at Naruto a moment and said, "All right. I thought about what you said hard and long, especially after my Ika paradise was taken when we were locked up by special order of the Mizukage." Naruto bit his lip to keep from laughing, and Kakashi said, "Anyways, as much as I hate to admit it, you were right. I did do only what was ordered of me and nothing more over the years because I was afraid of getting close to you, because everyone who gets close to me dies. My father, my team, your father, they all died when I got close to them, so I was afraid that if I got close to you then you would die also." Naruto said, "So then why are you here? Is it because you are just following orders?" Kakashi said, "No. I mean, I would have volunteered to find you even if I wasn't ordered to. You are a painful reminder of Sensei, but you're also the only link I have to him and I don't want to lose that link." Naruto said, "So because I am your Sensei's son you want to find me and drag me back to a place where I would be hated so you could go back to standing in front of the memorial stone and reading his books all day while I suffered? That is not gaining you any points in trying to earn my trust or forgiveness." Kakashi frowned and said, "People know the truth about you now, Naruto. They know whose son you are and what you contain. The Sandaime told everyone about it and how the Kyuubi attack was caused by Uchiha Madara and how Danzo, who was Madara's student, killed the Uchiha clan. The people have changed, Naruto." Naruto said, "But what changed about me between the time they found out the truth and 5 minutes before that? Not a damn thing. If Konoha wants me back and treat me different, they are doing it because of who my father was and who was to blame for the Kyuubi attack. Not me. They still do not care about me. That is why I said I hate Konoha. They care about nothing but themselves. They treated Sasuke like he's fucking Kami when in truth his father and the Uchiha Council were planning to kill the Hokage and the Council. Oops. Bet you didn't think anyone knew, huh? I know the old man listened to Danzo and the two old fossils and ordered the death of the Uchiha clan head and the Uchiha Council. I know Root helped Itachi do it, and when Itachi was reporting the mission a success, Danzo had Root finish the job, and the only reason Itachi and Sasuke are alive is because they weren't there. Imagine what would happen to the Golden Boy if the people of Konoha found the truth. They would think Sasuke and Itachi are both like Madara and either try to kill them or run them out of the village." Jiraiya asked, "How do you know about that?" Naruto said, "I've known years about that because I don't listen to gossip and lies of people. I look at the facts and go from there. I knew there was no way Itachi could do that all by himself, and I knew Itachi is one of those people who believe shinobi are nothing but tools, so if he was involved in the killing of his clan then he had to be ordered too. Then I just had to figure out who would order him and why and follow the trail like breadcrumbs, and here we are. Besides, I could get into the Hokage personal vault if I wanted to, as well as Root headquarters before I told the Sandaime where it was when it was hidden under his nose for years, so it's not too hard to figure out that somebody had paperwork on that event that I got into, but who is something that doesn't matter now and I won't tell you. There is another possibility, and that is that someone outside of Konoha has been keeping records on things going on in Konoha for years and I got into his files, a certain little greedy businessman who was involved in a lot of illegal activities." Jiraiya said, "So you got most of your info from Gato files?" Naruto smiled and said, "Most of it. I always suspected things about the Uchiha massacre, but it wasn't until I got into Danzo files and then when Kakashi here told the cover story Gigi came up with before I figured the rest out. Gigi the type of person who would only kill the ringleaders, and he would only do something against those in Konoha if he was pressured by his old Genin teammates, and I've known they both been blowing Danzo for years, so it wasn't hard to figure out after all that." Kakashi said, "You seem really different, Naruto, smarter." Naruto said, "Because I am smarter, Kakashi. I haven't been wasting my time doing nothing since I left Konoha. I train in elemental manipulation, chakra control, jutsu, strategy, taijutsu, kenjutsu, endurance, stamina, meditation, as well as all the books I've read on everything from cooking, manners, to diplomatic negotiations. And if you're wondering how I am able to do all that, is because I learned the secret behind Kijbunshin, which transfer their knowledge back to the original when dispelled. I didn't have sensei who either half-assed tried to teach me things, or those who ignored me and tried to hold me back. I've sweat, bleed, fought, and nearly died for everything I have now. All because of my precious people. So tell me, why should I do anything for the people of Konoha besides the few who live there that are precious to me, who at least tried to make my life better? Kakashi looked down and Naruto said, exactly. At best I am seen as a weapon Konoha doesn't want someone else to control. At worst I am seen as a defected tool that needs to be destroyed. I am not a shinobi of Konoha, never have been and never will. In fact, only reason either of you are here after me is because of Kyuubi and my father. ... If anyone in my life should be considered family, it should have been both of you, and yet it takes an international incident before either of you even to realize that the little boy that you both should have helped is dead and gone, and I am all that is left. I am not Naruto Uzumaki of Konoha, the happy-go-lucky idiot who wanted people to recognize him as a person and treat him like anyone else. He died because of the people of Konoha. I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, feudal lord of Wave. I am a son, brother, soon-to-be husband and father, friend, lover, hero, ally, neighbor, and boss. Why is it complete strangers can see me for me and know me better than people who I lived with for 15 years? Jiraiya looked away and said, sorry to disturb you, Namikaze-sama. I hadn't realized the person I was looking for is dead. Naruto shook his head and said, you fucking bastard. I am standing here drowning in misery and you have a life preserver in your hands and you turn your back on me. Fuck you and fuck Konoha. Let Orochimaru destroy it. Maybe I should cut a deal with him and tell him if he spares my precious people I'll join him, as he turned and started to walk away. Jiraiya said, you would betray Konoha to Orochimaru, as he looked at Naruto shocked. Naruto said, give me one reason. One single thread of reasoning that would stop me from doing it. You don't know what I went through. I still have nightmares about the times where people broke into my home to attack me. I remember when the Anbu who was supposed to watch me lead me into ambushes and only stopped them when the Hokage showed up. I seen the council who would sentence civilians to death if I was anyone else to a 3-day paid vacation out of the money I needed to live. I can't help but wonder if Konoha treated Madara the way they treated me. If maybe that's the reason he sent the Kyuubi to Konoha in the first place. If maybe in the future I will become the man I hate the most because of a place called Konoha. As he looked at both men ready to fight, Kakashi looked at Jiraiya and said, because you're not that type of person. You won't hurt others because you know their pain and wouldn't wish others to feel the pain of loss that you feel. Naruto said, about time one of you grew a brain instead of his pecker. Like I said, I will never join Konoha as a ninja, not after everything that has happened. But that doesn't mean I won't protect those who are precious to me who live in it. I may be a lot of things and do a lot of things, but I never go back on my word. As long as my precious people live in Konoha, I will defend it. The bridge between any relationship we might have had has been burned and destroyed. But like my home of Wave, a new bridge can be made. I'm giving you both the material you need to build that bridge. Anything worth having is worth working and fighting for. Is having me in your life worth working for, or am I nothing to you? You decide. I need some rest, this has been too draining, as he turned and left. Kakashi looked at Jiraiya and said, what do you think, Jiraiya-sama? Jiraiya said, he's so much like his father it's scary. His strength and determination is all Minato. Kakashi said, but his tongue lashings is all Kushina. Jiraiya said, his parents would be proud. And I think it's time I became the godfather I should have been. Naruto strong, but he's not indestructible and he's going to need help, even if he doesn't want to admit it. He very vulnerable. Sensei never told me he had it that bad. Kakashi said, he sugarcoated it for you. It was worse. I should have done more for him. Minato sensei was like a father to me, and if he was still alive I would have treated Naruto as a brother. I broke my own nindo and it's time I started to honor it. Jiraiya sighed and said, I guess there's no more research for me, making Kakashi gasp. Jiraiya thought and said, well, almost no research. I do have a responsibility to my readers. Maybe I can talk the kid into giving me info on the Mizukage. She's a looker. In the hidden mist village, Leela looked out the window and thought, why do I think someone just called me a hooker? That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.